Welcome back to the Deco Stop. Today is the day where we are heading out to the USS Oriskany. You guys have seen my other videos when I was just getting into technical diving. I just finished up my A&DP and we hit the flight deck and then kind of hung out around there. Well, of course, Chris convinced me to go a little bit deeper, so we signed up for our Trimix and our extended range. So today we are actually heading all the way to the sand. We're gonna check out the props, maybe hit up the treasure box. We're gonna get out there. So hopefully you guys enjoy going all the way down to the sand on the USS Oriskany, and we're gonna talk about some stuff while we're there. Welcome back to Below the Surface. And before we get started on this dive, let's go back to where it all started, Vortex Springs. For those of you that know Barry with Below 130 Diving, you know that he's gonna do the round robin. The round robin is a great way to get used to removing your deco bottle and putting it back on. Easy stuff, right? Maybe not. Need a little bit more practice. All in all, this is a really good way to get used to taking your deco bottles on and off, especially if on your dives you're going to be taking your deco bottles off. It's not as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of practice. Every extra second of depth could mean minutes, if not hours of more deco time. And we go into the little ship, so we could see just how tight we could squeeze through with our LP95 doubles. Suck it in. We also spent a lot of time going over worst case scenarios for both Trimix and our advanced rec course. You'll see a lot of that in the next video. And now that we're done with our training at Vortex Springs and getting beat up by Barry, let's go back to the Oriskany and finish this Trimix course. I'm going to take you guys all the way down to the props, which are pretty massive. But you guys are going to have to stick around to check it out. We just finished our modified S-Trail. We were only supposed to spend 2 minutes there, but I had some issues with my deco bottle, so we ended up spending a lot more. Now we're going to drop down just about to the flight deck, penetrate the hangar bay, go check out the 110 cutout. I'm not going to talk as I'm going through the hangar bay, because I think it's pretty cool in there, and I want you guys to enjoy it. But when we get through it, I want to have a discussion about scuba training in general, and how I got started diving, and what the next steps are after this. It's going to be an interesting topic, and I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts down in the comments. We briefly talked about it on the Deco Stop Facebook page. If you don't follow me there, head over to Facebook and follow the page, because I'm always talking about cool stuff on there and bringing up different ideas that I always run by you guys. Enjoy inside the USS Oriskany. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that quick little traverse through the hangar bay. That place is pretty cool. As you can see, there's a whole lot of different cutouts, so it's really wide open. Still don't recommend going into it unless you have the adequate training and you're certified to that depth, because that portion of the dive was about 170 foot deep. Pretty deep. Like I said, I want to talk to you guys about a few things. One, on how I got started in diving in general, that way you guys have just a little bit more history about me and who I am. So when I was a kid, my dad was a diver. I didn't really ever see him dive, but he always had his gear around, and I was always fascinated with it and very interested. Now it really didn't start to hit until about 2006 when I was in Iraq, and one of my buddies, John Farr, huge into cave diving in Florida, and he would talk about it all the time. He would also get Scuba Diver magazine and care packages. When he was done reading those, he'd throw them on my bunk, and I got to enjoy them. Those magazines probably got me through that entire deployment and made my life just a little bit more sane while I was over there, because that's all I thought about. That's all I dreamt about. Real quick, on this map, there is the prop, and that's where we're heading. Now when I got back from Iraq, that's about all I talked about, to the point to where Sarah was finally like, geez, fine, go get scuba certified. Consider it your birthday present. Done. There's the props. About 212 feet. Those things are massive. Really cool to get a chance to see these. Not a whole lot of people get a chance to dive down this deep and see these props anymore. And the size of the fish down here are massive, including this giant lionfish that's just sitting in the sand. If I only had my zookeeper with me, he'd be coming home. Great Falls, Montana, 2008. 2 years after my deployment to Iraq, and after the birth of my daughter. Now I'm gonna go get certified. Luckily, there was a dive shop right next to the base, A to Z Scuba. So when they opened up first thing in the morning, I was there to sign up. Now in 2008, there was no online enrollment, there was no online lessons. You had to go to class, open the book, listen to your instructor, run your actual dive tables, do all that stuff, and do a lot of pool work. So we spent about 5 weekends in the pool learning all of our skills before we headed to Pishkin Reservoir. If you guys are familiar with Montana or Pishkin Reservoir, it is glacier fed, so it is ice cold. My first dive was in frigid water, and I could not care less because I was diving. And after that, you couldn't keep me out of the water. So when I got reassigned to Georgia, I linked up with Southern Ocean Sports, where Dave Stone led me through Nitrox, Advanced, Rescue, and Dive Master. And if you guys aren't familiar with Dave Stone, if you've ever seen Axemen and the Dreadnoughts, well, then you know him. He was the big guy, kinda acted like a redneck on the TV show, but it was all scripted. He's actually a really smart, really cool dude, and I trusted him with my life. I mean, he pretty much taught me everything that I needed to know up until Trimix. So, love diving with that crew. Still link up with them every time they come down to Florida. And went to the liveaboard with them over in Egypt. It's always good when you can find a good dive crew that you just always hang out with, always go diving with. Love those guys. And then I moved down to Florida, where I link up with Shark Quest. And as they say, the rest is history. The second thing that I want to talk about is how fast is too fast. If you can go from open water diver all the way through Trimix in less than a year, would you do it? Is it smart? What says that you should have 300 dives, 500 dives, 1,000 dives, some arbitrary number? I'm here to say a lot of the training that we do through the agencies is a little rushed and sometimes a little bit dangerous because people get that false sense of security of knowing too much about diving when they really don't know a lot. I talked about it on my Facebook page at the Deco Stop and showed an excerpt from Patty where you only have to have your 5 dives and then you go take an advanced dive and do another 5 dives. And apparently, PADI doesn't even require a test for it. And here's the biggest issue. Getting your advanced card certifies you to go down to 100 feet. And when you get to that 100-foot mark, you don't have a whole lot of time before you start racking up deco obligations. And I don't think that a lot of new divers even understand what that means. We've had divers on the boat before that have no idea what decompression even is. They don't even know what NDL stands for. And that's really no fault of their own, they're just inexperienced. They didn't have enough time in the water, either with an instructor or reading books or watching videos or just getting that experience that they really need to understand how to be a safe diver. Now, I'm not saying that additional training is not what you need. If you want to sign up for an advanced course, sign up for the advanced course. I think my issue with it is that we call it advanced. I know it's just a word, but it kind of leads into that Donner-Kruger effect, to where all of a sudden you say you're an advanced diver. And I'm no stranger to it. When I got my advanced certification, I thought I was on top of the world. Heck, I even put a sticker on the back of my car that said advanced, like it was a rite of passage. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the Kruger-Donner effect, in simple terms, it's overconfidence with a lack of ability. People with limited knowledge and skills of a particular area often hold an inflated view of their abilities and understanding, leading to overconfidence. That overconfidence in scuba diving can cost you your life, especially the deeper you go and the more advanced you get. That's why in all my previous videos, I always say never turn down an opportunity for training, whether it's formal training or training with your friends or just going out on a dive and making it a training dive. That training dive has to have clear objectives and a good back brief to make it really actually work and stick with some good lessons learned from that dive. And that's what I really love about these types of courses, especially if you pick the right instructor to teach you. When I signed up for ANDP and for Trimix and for my advanced rec, it was a no-brainer to go with Barry with below 130 diving. One, he's probably the most sought-after technical diving instructor in this region. And I know from testimony and now personal experience that he's not just going to let you skirt through the training and give you a certification card. He's going to run you through every scenario that you could possibly go through that's going to take your life away. And that's really important in training to put you through a stressful situation, because you have to see what it feels like. You have to have an idea of how you're going to react in a situation. So while we're going through training in Vortex Springs, they have a cave trainer, which is perfect for wreck training because you have to run your line and your instructor can put you through silt out conditions while you're sharing air. And those scenarios get very stressful, even in training. We got done with those portions of the training and Chris and I were almost just contemplating on what we're even doing in this class. And that's what you need in your training. And I don't think that we do that enough early on in our careers of diving. We want to make it fun and enjoyable to keep people in the sport, and I get that. But if somebody goes past open water, then they've committed to a fact that they are going to go through the stressful situation. And if you can do it in training, and you can get the practice in training, then it might just help save your life. The moral of that entire tangent that I went on is I think that as a diving community, we owe it to future new divers to give them the training that we didn't get. So if you're an instructor, if you strive to be an instructor, don't make it easy. Make them work for it. And for the love of God, can we change advanced open water to like open water plus and get rid of advanced? Just sends the wrong message. Anyways, as you guys can see, I'm on my deco stop and I'm going to sit here for quite a long time. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget, go over to Facebook, find the deco stop page, like it, because we talk about some of the stuff that I talked about here, over there, and your guys' responses kind of give me an idea for videos in the future and things that we could talk about, because nobody just wants to sit here and watch me blow bubbles. While we're waiting for this deco to clear, check out this preview of the next video from my advanced rec course. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when that advanced rec course does come live. As always, it's been a pleasure with diving you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next dive.